Iceland's recorded history begins in 874 CE when Ingolfur Arnarson, a Norwegian chieftain, became the first permanent Norse settler. He established his homestead at Reykjavik, meaning Smoky Bay, named after the steam rising from nearby hot springs. The settlement of Iceland was part of the broader Viking expansion across the North Atlantic, driven by political upheaval in Norway under King Harald Fairhair's consolidation of power. The initial settlement period, known as the Age of Settlement, lasted until 930 CE. During this time, approximately 20,000 to 25,000 people, primarily from Norway but also from other Scandinavian countries and Celtic regions, established themselves on the island. These settlers brought with them not only Norse culture and language but also Celtic slaves and wives, creating a unique cultural blend that would define Iceland's early character. The settlers faced extraordinary challenges in their new homeland. Iceland's harsh climate, volcanic activity, and isolation from mainland Europe required remarkable adaptation. They established a pastoral economy based on sheep, cattle, and horses, while also relying on fishing and hunting. The introduction of Christianity began in the late 10th century, largely through the influence of Norwegian kings and missionaries. In 930 CE, the Icelanders established the Althing at Lyngvellir, creating one of the world's oldest parliaments. This assembly of chieftains and freemen met annually to settle disputes, make laws, and conduct judicial proceedings. The Althing represented a unique form of governance that balanced individual freedoms with collective decision-making, establishing Iceland as a free commonwealth without a single ruler. The Icelandic Commonwealth, or Free State period, represents one of the most remarkable political experiments in medieval Europe. Unlike most contemporary societies, Iceland had no king, standing army, or centralized executive power. Instead, the country was governed by a complex system of chieftains who wielded both religious and secular authority. This period witnessed the flowering of Icelandic literature and culture. The sagas, Iceland's greatest cultural contribution to world literature, were composed during this time. These prose narratives, including the Islendingasker and Kanangasker, preserve the history, mythology, and social customs of medieval Iceland. Works like Egil's Saga, Njál's Saga, and the Laxdæla Saga remain masterpieces of world literature. The Commonwealth period also saw the formal adoption of Christianity in 1000 CE, a decision made at the Althing to avoid civil war between Christian and pagan factions. This peaceful transition demonstrated the pragmatic nature of Icelandic governance and helped integrate Iceland into the broader European Christian world. However, the Commonwealth system contained inherent instabilities. The concentration of power among a few powerful families led to increasing conflicts and feuds. The 13th century, known as the Sturlung Age, was marked by civil wars and political chaos as competing chieftains struggled for dominance. These conflicts weakened Iceland's independence and made it vulnerable to foreign intervention. The collapse of the Commonwealth system led to Iceland's submission to Norwegian rule in 1262 to 1264 through the Old Covenant. This agreement promised Iceland continued autonomy in exchange for acknowledging Norwegian sovereignty and paying tribute. Initially, Norwegian rule brought stability and continued prosperity, but Iceland's autonomy gradually eroded. In 1380, Iceland, along with Norway, came under Danish rule through the Kalmar Union. The subsequent centuries marked a period of decline for Iceland. The Danish crown imposed increasingly restrictive trade monopolies, limiting Iceland's economic development. The Protestant Reformation was imposed on Iceland in 1550, leading to the execution of the last Catholic bishop, John Arason, and the confiscation of church lands. The 17th and 18th centuries brought extraordinary hardships. The Little Ice Age severely affected Iceland's climate, leading to crop failures and livestock deaths. Volcanic eruptions, including the catastrophic Laki eruption of 1783 to 1784, caused widespread famine and death. The population, which had reached about 50,000 in the Commonwealth period, fell to as low as 40,000 by the late 18th century. Danish colonial policies further hampered Iceland's development. The trade monopoly system prevented Icelanders from trading freely with other nations, while Danish merchants often exploited their privileged position. Educational opportunities were limited, and Iceland's traditional literary culture declined as Danish became the language of administration and higher learning. The 19th century marked the beginning of Iceland's modern independence movement. The abolition of the Althing in 1800 and its replacement with a high court sparked the first organized resistance to Danish rule. Influential figures like John Sigurðsson emerged as leaders of the independence movement, advocating for constitutional government and national self-determination. The movement gained momentum through cultural and intellectual revival. The collection and publication of ancient Icelandic manuscripts, including the Codex Regius containing the Poetic Edda, helped restore Icelandic cultural identity. The establishment of the Icelandic Literary Society in 1816 provided a forum for intellectual discourse and political activism. Political progress came gradually. The Althing was restored in 1845 as a consultative assembly, though real power remained with the Danish governor. The Constitution of 1874 granted Iceland limited home rule, coinciding with the celebration of the 1000th anniversary of settlement. This constitution established Iceland as a distinct entity within the Danish realm with its own legislature and limited self-governance. The early 20th century saw accelerating demands for independence. The Act of Union of 1918 established Iceland as a sovereign state in personal union with Denmark, sharing only the monarch while maintaining separate governments. This arrangement satisfied neither complete independence advocates nor those favoring continued Danish rule, but it provided a stepping stone toward full sovereignty. World War II proved decisive for Iceland's independence. The German occupation of Denmark in 1940 effectively severed the personal union, as the Danish government could no longer represent Iceland internationally. British and later American forces occupied Iceland to prevent German control of this strategically vital island. The occupation, while initially resented, brought unprecedented prosperity and modernization to Iceland. On June 17, 1944, exactly 75 years after the birth of independence leader John Sigurðsson, Iceland declared full independence and established the Republic of Iceland. Sveinn Björnsson became the first president, and the new constitution established a parliamentary republic with a president as head of state and a prime minister as head of government. Post-war Iceland underwent rapid modernization and economic development. The American military presence during the Cold War provided security and economic benefits, though it also generated political controversy. Iceland became a founding member of NATO in 1949, despite strong pacifist traditions, viewing membership as essential for security given the country's strategic location and small population. The Cold War period saw Iceland's emergence as a prosperous Nordic welfare state. The economy diversified beyond traditional fishing and agriculture to include aluminum smelting, powered by abundant geothermal and hydroelectric energy. Iceland also became a leader in utilizing renewable energy sources, eventually achieving nearly 100% renewable electricity generation. The Cod Wars of the 1950s-1970s demonstrated Iceland's willingness to defend its economic interests. Through a series of disputes with Britain over fishing rights, Iceland successfully extended its exclusive fishing zone to 200 nautical miles, establishing a precedent that influenced international maritime law. These conflicts, though bloodless, showed how a small nation could successfully challenge major powers through determination and strategic thinking. Iceland's cultural renaissance continued throughout the 20th and 21st centuries. The country produced internationally acclaimed authors like Halldór Laxness, who won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1955, and contemporary writers like Arnaldur Indriðason. Icelandic musicians, including Björk and Sigur Rós, gained global recognition, while the country's film industry and digital media sectors flourished. The 2008 financial crisis severely tested Iceland's economic and political systems. The collapse of the country's three major banks led to a currency crisis, government resignation, and international bailout. However, Iceland's recovery was remarkably swift, aided by currency devaluation that boosted tourism and exports, debt restructuring, and the prosecution of bankers responsible for the crisis. The 21st century has seen Iceland emerge as a global leader in several areas. The country pioneered the use of genetic databases for medical research, leading to breakthrough discoveries in human genetics. Iceland's commitment to gender equality has made it consistently rank among the world's most gender-equal societies. The country has also become a major tourist destination, with visitors drawn by its dramatic landscapes, cultural attractions, and reputation for safety and environmental consciousness. Contemporary Iceland faces new challenges and opportunities. Climate change affects traditional industries like fishing, while creating new possibilities for agriculture and shipping routes. The country continues to debate its relationship with the European Union, having applied for membership in 2009 but later suspending negotiations. Energy-intensive industries and tourism growth raise questions about environmental sustainability and carrying capacity. The 21st century has witnessed Iceland's transformation into a digital pioneer and global influencer far exceeding its small size. The country became an unlikely hub for data centers, attracted by its cool climate, abundant renewable energy, and political stability. Major technology companies established server farms in Iceland, taking advantage of natural cooling and clean electricity to reduce operational costs and environmental impact. Iceland's commitment to internet freedom and digital rights has made it a haven for organizations promoting transparency and free speech. The country hosted WikiLeaks servers and became a destination for digital rights activists. The Icelandic Modern Media Initiative, launched in 2010, aimed to create the world's strongest legal framework for protecting journalists, whistleblowers, and internet freedom, though implementation has faced various challenges. The cryptocurrency boom of the 2010s saw Iceland become a major player in Bitcoin mining, with the country's cheap renewable energy making it an attractive location for energy-intensive cryptocurrency operations. However, this development raised concerns about energy consumption and environmental impact, leading to debates about prioritizing energy use between traditional industries, data centers, and cryptocurrency mining. Iceland's approach to the COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated its capacity for innovative governance and scientific leadership. The country implemented one of the world's most comprehensive testing and contact tracing programs, working with genomics company Decode to sequence virus samples and track transmission patterns. This scientific approach, combined with targeted restrictions rather than complete lockdowns, helped Iceland maintain one of the world's lowest death rates while minimizing economic disruption. The pandemic also accelerated Iceland's digital transformation, with remote work becoming more common and digital services expanding across government and private sectors. The tourism industry, which had become increasingly important to Iceland's economy, faced severe challenges during travel restrictions, but adapted by promoting domestic tourism and developing new digital marketing strategies for eventual recovery. Iceland's position as a global leader in renewable energy has made it a model for sustainable development. The country generates virtually all its electricity from geothermal and hydroelectric sources, and has ambitious plans to become carbon neutral by 2040. Innovative projects include carbon capture and storage initiatives, where CO2 is captured from the atmosphere and converted into rock through natural processes, potentially offering scalable solutions for global climate change. The country's unique geological features continue to provide both opportunities and challenges. Volcanic activity remains a constant presence, as demonstrated by the 2010 Eyjafjallajökull eruption that disrupted global air travel, and more recent eruptions on the Reykjanes Peninsula that have attracted international scientific attention and tourist interest. These events remind the world of Iceland's dynamic geological nature and its role as a natural laboratory for studying volcanic processes and their global impacts. Iceland's fisheries management has evolved to become a model for sustainable fishing practices worldwide. The country's quota system, while controversial domestically, has helped maintain fish stocks and marine ecosystems. As climate change affects ocean temperatures and fish migration patterns, Iceland continues to adapt its fishing policies and explore new opportunities in aquaculture and marine biotechnology. Today, Iceland stands as a remarkable success story of a small nation that has maintained its unique identity while adapting to global changes. With a population of approximately 380,000, Iceland has achieved high living standards, low crime rates, and strong democratic institutions. The country's history from Viking settlement to modern republic demonstrates how geographic isolation, cultural cohesion, and adaptive governance can enable a small society to thrive in an increasingly interconnected world. Iceland's journey from a Viking settlement to a modern Nordic democracy illustrates the complex interplay between geography, culture, and politics in shaping national destiny. Despite centuries of foreign rule, natural disasters, and economic challenges, Iceland has preserved its unique language, literature, and democratic traditions while embracing modernity and global engagement. This balance between tradition and innovation continues to define Iceland's approach to contemporary challenges, ensuring its distinctive voice in international affairs and its enduring appeal as a society that has successfully navigated the tensions between independence and interdependence in the modern world.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more engaging historical content.